Welcome back to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for the collective. Know that energy is fluid. Rules could be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So I do look at everything, but we take a lot more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they played as karmic themes. So the readings have a therapy style to them because we're, again, looking at what is driving this person to do what they do. A lot of times they're creating illusions. They're coming from the place of their wound. They're not coming from the reality that's really unfolding. So when we understand that, then we're able to not get triggered, first of all, because what we're usually seeing is that the person is wounded, and we're able then to deal with the situation a lot differently. Since there's many different realities that played at one time, you're the alchemist of your life. Why would you want to be connected to someone that keeps you stuck in a place of disempowerment? You wouldn't. Now, anything of any importance or relevance to the channel, you can find in the description box. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's all good karma. All right, let's see what the underlining energy is. The underlining energy, again, tells us why everyone does what they do. Okay. Honor. One more. I'm already feeling something, but I want to, go a little deeper. Neglect. Well, that's exactly what I felt. I feel like you're connected to someone that didn't honor the connection. And they didn't by not giving you time, not giving you attention, not acting like this connection was like every other connection. So they breadcrumbed you. They wanted you to chase them. They were insecure. Is what I'm feeling. They didn't honor it. No, again, it was all about what they wanted. So deceiving you, maybe telling you that they wanted to be monogamous, but they didn't want to. Again, showing you one thing, but really feeling something else, not being transparent, and then just continue to do it. I feel like, you made clear what your boundaries were, what you looked for in a relationship, and this person didn't care. They just, excessive, meaning whatever were doing, they kept doing it. So if it was talk to other people, it was talking to other people. If it was just spending more time with their hobbies and their interests, or working too much and just not giving you time, neglecting you. And really, it's again not anytime you would, state your boundaries, try to communicate. Again, this person acted like it was like you act being demanding, like it was stifling, like you were limiting them, where it really wasn't. The connection, not having boundaries, did that because, you never knew where you stood. And like what you saw was over time, the relationship was just really focused on the physical, that it never really established the strong emotional connection. And again, this person not allowing you to have boundaries, not really caring about what works for you. Like it was a one sided relationship. And it was because it was like the conversations that you would have to have with this person to establish boundaries would trigger all the past wounds that they've ever had. Again, past relationships, why they don't really like relationships, why they don't like, rules, why. And so, really, they don't want to have the conversation because the conversation leads to them having to do healing. And that's really the truth. And, you know, the they really don't want to do the healing. They don't really want to change. And the reason why is because there's a part of them that just doesn't really want a relationship. They want to be free. So if there's no rules, then they can do what they want, when they want, how they want. So even though they said that they wanted a relationship, They do. They just want it their way. And if you're not allowed to establish boundaries, well, then, hey, they can do what they want. Otherwise, if you're going to, set boundaries, now there's rules. Now it's stifling. Now you're telling them what to do, which again, that's a one sided relationship. So you have to say, well, what does this person really feel? Let's go deeper, because it's like everybody tends to want the relationship their way, but what do they really feel? I couldn't give you the love you truly deserve. And that's exactly what I keep saying. And it's like because of, their past relationships, and there's no other reason, and what's comfortable for them. And also just not willing to, I mean, I'm sorry that things didn't work out for us. I don't know whether they're sorry. I think that they're sorry that you see exactly who they are. I can't change who I am to be with you, who you need. So again, this person's actually admitting. So you have to say the best thing that you can do is say, why did I attract this person into my life? If that's really, again, they were like, they pretty much just wanted the relationship their way. And what happened is that you caught them out there and they were like, well, I'm still not going to change. So that might have feelings for you again, and know that you're a twin flame, but they're not going to do that. They're not going to treat you any different than how they would treat anyone else, because they don't want a real relationship. They want to be free. And I think that we can say, okay, why is it that they want to be free? But we can assume it's from a past relationship. That's what we can assume, that it has nothing to do with you. It's just you're the caught of it. It's again because this person doesn't wants to be like they want to be a bachelor. They don't really, they just want to be a bachelor. They just want to, you know, like it's almost like this person likes to like create new beginnings and not really, once it's like they're all about the passion, the beginning. But as far as the groundedness, this person doesn't want to. They don't want. It's almost like, and how they feel is with this connection that it can't go any further because you want a relationship, and this person is saying that's not what I want to do. And then what they know is that you're not going to allow them to manipulate. And that's really, it's like no one volunteers to be in a one-sided relationship. This person came into the connection insinuating, hinting, making it like that that's what they wanted. Might have even said that they wanted it when they got carried away with the passion, but they don't really want it. They like that falling in love stage, but it's almost like they know that they can't do that with you. You know what I mean? So it's like they feel like it ended because of that, because you'll always want them to honor you, like, and honor the connection, which means treat you with the respect that you deserve. And they're saying, I can't do that. And it's because they're selfish. There's no other reason why. And it's okay that they're selfish. What's not okay is that they went into the relationship and pretended that they wanted something that they didn't. And that's the thing, because you wouldn't have went into that. So they might have said one thing and did something else, but their actions were always in alignment with not wanting it. And that's what you have to watch. Again, where the assumptions, right? They knew that you would assume that, that they were going to give equal give and take. And that's what they knew, because again of that spiritual connection. So of course you thought that they would honor the connection, because again they could feel it too, but it was the assumption. And then when you held them accountable, because you're like, okay, well, we're supposed to be something special and you treated me badly, well then they felt attacked, by the constant need, for them to like tell you what was going on with the connection, which put pressure on them because they didn't never really wanted the same type of relationship that you did. And so they just weren't going to be honest about it. is what I see here. So the best thing that you could do is say, why did you attract this person into your life? Because you're a mirror of whom what comes into your life. It's going to be a short reading today because of that. And though this isn't a pleasant reading for anyone, we have to say again, people attract people into their life. And where they are in life, they assume that the person that they're dealing with is coming from the same point of view. And they might even show characteristics of it, but only time is going to tell you who that person is. And so, again, it's almost like you ran into the connection assuming this person knew it, and then they turned into who they really are, which is, I don't really want a commitment. And then, you holding them accountable and actually being like, hey, you didn't respect my boundaries is actually a trigger for this person. Because again, you're making them look bad. And so then they're like, no, I'm not going to be with you because I see how you are. You're going to hold me to it. And that makes you feel bad. When really, if you didn't entertain the person after you saw that they weren't giving, or there was still a hope that they would give, and assume, because again, hey, we have this connection. But Spirit said, no, they came into your life as a karmic to draw your wounds out of you. And some are abuse, and that could be psychological, and it could be emotional too. And the psychological abuse is, hey, this person is a twin flame or a soulmate, and you can feel it. There's unconditional love. You know it, and they know it, but they're not going to show you. They're not going to give you anything emotionally. That's abuse, emotional abuse. If anything, I'm going to give you less because this person doesn't want to do the healing to actually let you in. If they let you in, they have to be vulnerable. They don't want to do that. It brings up past experiences. They'd rather be a free spirit. They'd rather not, be in a relationship, though they do have that connection. So they've tried to have their cake and eat it too. That's abuse too. It's like, I'm not going to listen to what's important to you. You have boundaries. You want to be represented a certain way. Well, I don't care. I'm going to do what I want. Now, this person may not think that they were abusive, but that's a form of abuse, and I feel like you grew up with such abuse, and so space. Now, space is where we can go and create ourselves. It's also where we go to find the wonders within ourselves. Because when you go out and you create yourself is how you find yourself. So the space. But if you were abused, then you were more in a place of survival mode due to the trauma that you experienced. Again, could be psychological or emotional. So growing up with parent that did that, or someone close to you, because when we're looking at the inner child wounds, we're seeing where the fragmentation started. Well, again, the abuse, the psychological and emotional, well, it's usually in childhood. And if it was a parent that did that, someone close, well, then you're conditioned at a very young age to, that no one understands you, that you're different. Because again, you feel different because you're sensitive, your environment, you were wired differently. You're wired from place of survival. If you grew up in trauma, abuse, psychological and emotional abuse. See, our society doesn't recognize psychological trauma and how it plays out within our lives and how it plays out within our relationships. It's not talked about. It's not educated enough. And in here, it's like this person, you attracted that was like, I don't care how I treat you. You're disposable, because it's again, like there's a sense of entitlement, but look how you grew up. There was a psychological, emotional abuse, and there was, again, that trauma. So you weren't creating yourself. So you're still holding on to too much of that trauma because you haven't transmuted that negative energy. Just because you're out of that situation, there's still that fear of, God, like someone can come into my life and, take me off my path or try and do something again to create more trauma, because that's how you were wired. But the truth is it's no one can. It's up to you. And going through this experience allowed you to actually see that no one can take you off your path. People can want the worst for you, but and try to set you up. But if you're in alignment with your true self, your higher self, well, they can't do that. And really, at the end of the day, this person kind of got over, but it could have been worse. You could have come to a place and been like, never question it, and went on and on and on, and just assumed that it was going to be that type of relationship that you wanted, assuming that this person had the same intentions as you. And at the end of the day, you could have spent 20, 25 years with somebody that the whole time was like, yeah, we were just having a good time. But you really need their help 20 years from now, they're not going to be there for you, because they would say, well, we never established those boundaries. And the whole time they're dating other people, they're in and out, they're not putting in the time the way that you are. And so you're like, well, why am I so connected to somebody and they don't really seem as connected to me, almost making you feel as if like you're not as worthy, when really they didn't put the time in, but you didn't know. It's again because you played by their rules, which that didn't happen to you. You were like, no. And it was a good thing, because you would have repeated a cycle. But instead, you're going to take that emotional energy and you're going to use your passion to fight for what you believe in, to stand your ground. So again, anyone that comes into your life to try to make you settle for less, Spirit says, nope. You put your focus and you put your energy towards your passion for life, things that fulfill your soul, things that are going to, again, feed you. You're going to pour it into your own cup, because everyone's going to want to utilize your energy for what they want to utilize it for. And that's what that person represented on some level. You now gain the deep wisdom, even though it hurt. You got to see, well, even people that, you feel like should be kind to you and should be good to you, well, again, they could be wounded. So we have to make sure that we take care of ourselves first, and not, care so much about the other person. This person assumed that you were going to be all swept up in the romance and care so much about them, because you were giving them all that time, that well, you weren't going to ask. And if you didn't ask, they weren't going to tell. Once you ask, well, now, now they feel stupid. Now they're not going to participate, because, hey, you're always going to want that. And I'm always going to come up short. And Spirit says part of going through this experience and letting them go is to actually help you let go of who you once were, to realize who you are, to release the past. And that's by settling for, not settling for so little. Like this person, like they didn't want to give anything. They never really offered anything. And then when you held them to it, they were like, no, I don't really want to do it. And that's not because of you, that's because of them. But they would make you feel as if it's because of you and that you're wrong. So when a person shows you that, you shouldn't have to ask for that. They should automatically show you that. And if they're not showing you that, that's when you release your energy. Again, where I feel like you saw it, and instead of just releasing, you asked this person, and they were like, oh no, I never wanted that. So almost like you have mud on your face, where you're like, wait a minute, where it's like, oh, they wanted the benefits of it, they didn't want to work for it, and they were willing to let you believe that they would, because of who they are. You didn't attract this person because you're shady. You attract this person because you were too trustworthy and didn't honor yourself enough. And Spirit ends off with, shine your light. Understand your desire to improve yourself transforms fear into strength. Raise your thoughts above doubt and find faith in the goodness of the universe. Love and accept yourself as a soul and discover the light that dwells inside of you. Where Spirit says, you're not honoring yourself enough. You don't even know what your own worth is. And that's why you were willing to give this person the benefit of the doubt. But if you had, poured time, energy, and love into yourself by creating yourself somewhere, then, you wouldn't just let anyone come into your life and think, because this person doesn't have good intentions. It's again, and that just would have kept you bound to that trauma of the past, where again, you grew up with that psychological and emotional trauma. It's not that you deserve it, but when we don't learn, the universe brings us the same karmic theme. So you had an opportunity to break that karmic cycle, and you did. Thank God. All right, I'm going to leave that there. You let me know how you resonated, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.